So, Eric, have you heard about the couple who bought an island because it was much cheaper than buying a house?
I've heard a little bit about it.
Okay, so this story takes place in Finland, and the guy, Russell, he actually grew up here in the US, but from what I'm gathering from the article, he had dual citizenship. So he would visit Finland like every summer, and he really fell in love with Finland, and they have a cottage culture, and he decided that he wanted to go live over there. So he moves over there, meets a girl, they start dating, and they start looking for a home, and they start looking at other options. So while they're looking, he found a island. It's been abandoned for 10 years, and it had a listing of $36,596.
Damn.
I know that's way cheaper than a house. But get this. So he made an offer of $31,000 and the previous owner accepted. And it says the island is uninhabited and it measures over 2.5 acres, and the couple is only permitted to build on the top half of the island, as the rest is classified as forest land. So it's kind of cool because they're trying to preserve the forest, which is important, especially for the wild animals. So the couple, they've actually made their first visit to the island in May, and they're planning on making more as they're starting to work on projects on the island. And it says they spent their first night in the floating tent. Now I don't even know what that is, but that sounds kind of scary, especially if you're in the water and it's just floating around. But I guess it's your own island, so whatever.
I mean, who's gonna... There's no serial killer that's gonna go out there on a boat and just go, oh, I'm gonna get these two people.
Yeah, you never know, because scary movies exist. it's always something like that. But this is pretty cool. So it goes on to say that the night that they spent in the floating tent and in the area, that they enjoyed it because they were basically off grid. And so far the couple has built an outhouse and an off-grid shower. And I've seen, like, on YouTube and TikTok, I've actually seen like people who do the off-the-grid stuff and built those, so I know exactly what they're talking about. And it's interesting that they did this since neither Russell or his girlfriend have any experience on living off the grid, and they're both students, so they have to figure out how they're gonna like split their time. So I don't know, what do you think about this investment so far?
I mean, overall, like, okay, housing market is bad everywhere, it looks like. Both Finland and America and everywhere else. So at least we're not the only country that's facing like a severe housing crisis. But, I mean, it's kind of sad if you can't afford a house, but you can afford a whole ass island. I mean, something needs to be done.
I mean, I agree. A couple years ago, I was looking at a potential house for $200,000,
and that house is probably now almost $350 now.
It's probably $4, from what my friend who does real estate, what he was telling me. He was like, it's probably around like 4 or something, Brian. He's like, you should have bought it. And I'm like, that's a big commitment to make. And I don't know, if I want to be in Louisville. And not that buying a big island personally, that's a big commitment. Hopefully everything works out. Hopefully they're staying together and they learn more.
I mean, you just gotta think this is kind of like a flex in a way. Instead of like party at my house, party on my island, bitch.
I mean, really.
Like,
I mean, it's endless possibilities what they could do. I mean, as long as I'm pretty sure they have to like do certain things and get certain permits for the land and everything. I mean, since it is like near a forest, they gotta be considerate of like the creatures that live there.
I mean, it's my island. I bought the whole island. I'm gonna use the whole island.
And that's not what the article said. The article said that they are only permitted to build on the top half.
I know, but that would be my American way of thinking. It's like, I bought this whole island and these creatures are mine now.
Yeah, you would have a bunch of Americans thinking that. No shade, but it's true.
But overall, it's just